I'm gonna be honest, I've barely played any Kirby spin-offs. I'm not saying any of them are bad, I just never felt the need to play them. I've never been into golf and don't have any friends, so no Dream Course. I never liked match puzzle games, so no Avalanche. Pinball sounds neat, but I've got Pokemon Pinball for that. Canvas Curse and Rainbow Curse seem fine, but they never really interested me. The only two spin-offs that I'm actually interested in are Air Ride and Mass Attack, and even those ones I never felt like going yo-ho-ho on. So that leaves us with Kirby's Epic Yarn, the one Kirby spin-off that I actually have played, which was on a rental once when it first came out. It's not that I didn't enjoy the game or anything, I remember liking it quite a bit, I just never got around to playing it again. And honestly, I think the reason why Epic Yarn is the only Kirby spin-off I've played is because it doesn't feel like a spin-off. This is still a 2D platformer, even if the game is fairly far removed from what you normally expect from Kirby. It's definitely one of those spin-off but not a spin-off kind of games. It wasn't made by HAL either, it was made by Goodfeel, who would later go on to make Yoshi's Woolly and Crafted World. God, if that isn't the most fitting developer name possible, especially with that pun title. How can yarn be epic? Well, yarn also means to weave a long and implausible story. We could have called this game Kirby's Long Poetic Ramblings, but it doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. Ironically, the game's only like 7 hours. Still a bit short, but longer than most of the games in the series. Anyway, Kirby takes up knitting. Was it a good idea? Feel free to listen to me garble into a microphone about it. Story-wise, Epic Yarn is definitely a weird one. There's this dude going around turning everything into yarn, including Kirby. Kirby gets sucked into Patchland and helps out this dude named Prince Fluff to gather up the magic yarn to stitch Patchland back together. That is basically it. Yin Yarn also ends up turning all of Dreamland into yarn, so Kirby has to go beat him up to get everything back to normal, so that's cool. But exactly what you expected. Although it's kind of funny how Yin Yarn defeated Dedede by having Yarn Waddle Dees infiltrate his castle and he just didn't notice.
It appeared that Yin Yarn's Waddle Dee imposters had captured all of the real Waddle Dees.
The internet's ruined me. The game's cutscene is also narrated by a guy with the most ASMR voice possible. I want him to read me a bedtime story.
This grass feels funny, Kirby thought. It feels like pants.
That voice really adds to how cozy this game feels. Like, you seeing this? Everything in Epic Yarn looks like an arts and crafts project. Not everything's yarn, but it's at least fabric or buns or something similar. It's all just so adorable. There's tree fruits made of beads, snowballs and clouds made of fluff, even the doors and chests are just stickers that you peel off. The most impressive part is how parsable everything is. I was never confused about what was a platform or what wasn't. I could even tell that this single strand of yarn representing water was something that I could swim into. It's not just adorable, it's functional. And if your eyes weren't relaxed, your ears are definitely gonna be. The game's music is mostly this relaxing piano that honestly doesn't sound out of place in Minecraft. There are more upbeat tracks, but it all comes off as cozy and friendly. Kirby's Epic Yarn feels scientifically engineered to be a depression-free zone. From the aesthetics to the music to the enemies, no matter what you're into, there's bound to be something that just tugs at your heartstrings. I don't know what it is with me and winter levels, I just love the winter wonderland aesthetic. It may just be growing up in a cold climate and being like the one person here who actually likes the cold, as long as it's not like 20 degrees Fahrenheit or something. There was just something about going through this cozy cabin with snow falling in the foreground, listening to nice music and jumping on Christmas trees that made my cold, dead heart feel something. This is what Ohio does to a man. I'm sorry, but if this kind of level doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, you are a broken person. Please seek professional help. I am legitimately worried about you. I haven't talked about the actual game yet, huh? Epic Yarn isn't like other Kirby games. Because Kirby's now an outline of yarn, he can't suck up enemies, so no copy abilities. And because he can't use the suck, he can't fly either. Instead, he has this yarn whip to interact with the environment. He can use it to swing from buttons, unzip zippers, peel off stickers to open doors and chests, pick up enemies and throw them, stuff like that. Dashing turns you into a car, holding down the jump button turns you into a parachute to slow your descent, and he's also got a ground pound by pressing down while in the air. And that's basically your whole moveset. What all you have is a sideways Wii remote to work with, that's all you can really do. You have like 2 buttons. Speaking of that, I forgot how uncomfortable this control method is. This thing is not meant to be a standalone controller. It works, doesn't make me cramp up or anything, but I would much rather use just about anything else. The main thing is that the D-pad's too small and causes me to have misinputs every now and then. It would just be a lot more comfortable if it was a little bigger, you know? It makes a few Wii games really awkward to come back to, mainly this and Super Paper Mario. But despite the controller that I have to play it with, Epic Yarn actually controls well. Like, really well. Kirby was never really known for the platforming, but the jump physics in this game are really satisfying and feel just right. The sound effects really add to how good the game feels. Every time you tear away something or grab an enemy and twirl them into a ball, ugh, that never gets old. And I really like how when you latch on to something with your whip, you still stay in the air for a bit. It really sets off the good chemicals in my brain. There's even this one optional puzzle where you have to do this to get some extra height and low gravity. I felt like a god when I already knew what to do for that. Focusing more on the platforming feel was a really good move for this game. It's nice to have a Kirby game that's fun as a platformer. Epic Yarn really reminds me of Kirby 64 in that regard. The generally good level design helps, as ideas feel a lot more like Mario. What I mean by that is that it has cool ideas, but it doesn't repeat them much so they don't get stale. Like how there's one level that's dinosaur themed, and you're using dinosaurs as platforms and that kind of thing. But there isn't any other level like that. Hell, the whole world is called Hotland, but it doesn't stick to one kind of biome. First there's a desert level, then there's a volcano, then you find shelter in a cool cave, then it's dinosaurs. Nothing ever overstays his welcome, which keeps the gameplay fresh. There's only a single level in Iceland where Kirby's dash turns into a sled instead of a car. You know they had restraint. Look at how happy he is. Sorry, it's actually called Snowland. That was a really missed opportunity. Probably the biggest thing about the levels in this game is that you can't die. Yep, Kirby is an immortal god that can't be hurt by anything. This is now canon. Instead of taking damage when you get hit, you'll lose beads, the main collectible. All they really do is increase your rank at the end of the stage. If you collect the end goal segments throughout the stage and land on a bonus panel, you get some extra beads at the end. It's not random at least, it lands on about where you hit the bell. This thing can really save your ass if you're going for gold ranks. Playing the game normally, there is zero challenge here. Literally, on a scale from 1 to 10 in terms of difficulty, Kirby's Epic Yarn is a 0. The only damage penalty is having beads fly out of you like Sonic losing rings. And if you fall in a pit, you just lose a bunch of beads. So if you don't care about rankings, just play it and have some fun. Doesn't matter. But if you do go for gold ranks, there is a fair bit of challenge here. The later stages can be oddly punishing. Like I'm talking one fall into the pit from these annoying snowballs can drop you from gold all the way down to bronze. This game doesn't pull punches in that department. You have to play well if you want to get a good rank. It reminds me of Bayonetta of all things, which is not something I thought I would compare this game to. So when you can't die, how do you make bosses interesting? Well, on their own, they're oddly satisfying to take down. You hit him to expose a weak point, then you slam him against the wall. Again, this never gets old. You really feel the impact of the hit. But the actual challenge comes from not getting hit yourself. You can usually hit bosses by throwing one of their attacks back at them, giving you more beads. And if you go beyond a gold rank on the boss, you get 2 bonus levels to go through. Like I said before, you can skip this if you don't care, but it does give a good incentive to actually fight the boss and learn the patterns instead of just standing there. Boss themselves aren't too noteworthy, but they are enjoyable. The only annoying one was Squashini, mainly because you'll use this slot machine to determine what attack you'll use. It just feels a little too luck-based to get something that results in you being able to damage him. The fight against Yin Yarn was pretty cool. This dude summons enemies and even weaker versions of bosses using his weird-ass sock magic. It's a really cool idea given his abilities, but I really wish he didn't drop a massive explosion of beads when he beat him. It's almost impossible to not unlock the bonus levels. It just takes the fun out of it. Oh, I gotta mention this real quick. I love how each level doesn't just appear. Each one has a unique animation for the door becoming accessible. It's a great touch and super charming. One of the things I like about Kirby is how it blatantly ignores game design conventions. Like, obviously you wouldn't want to give the player infinite jumps in a platformer because it makes it too easy. But in Kirby, if you think something's too hard or you just flat out don't want to play it, you can literally just fly over it. The lack of death actually feels like an extension of that philosophy. You have an incentive to get better ranks if you want more of a challenge, but if you don't care about that, then you can just ignore it and have a good time going through these delightful levels. Despite not playing like a Kirby game, Epic Yarn still feels like Kirby, which is cool. These people made a game where you can't die interesting. You have no idea how impressive that is. The only issue with this is that sometimes there's a puzzle that you can't reset unless you restart the whole level. Because when you normally play a video game and want to reset the puzzle in the room, you have 2 options. Either you leave the room and come back, or you kill yourself. That's just how video games work. But in Epic Yarn, you obviously can't die, and because every level is one continuous string of level, you can't leave the room and reset it. So if you mess up certain puzzles, you have to restart the whole level. Now, these kinds of things are just to get optional collectibles. You can't soft lock yourself or anything, but it's still annoying if you're trying to get all of them. It's just an ironic side effect from making the game easier. And so, what do these collectibles do? Why, you can use them to decorate your apartment, of course. To be clear, I don't have anything against this. It's a neat little feature they put a surprising amount of effort into. I'm just weirded out by how random it is. Like, hey, you know what this jumpy game needs more of? Interior decorating. What? This is also the only thing you can spend your beads on, other than buying more floors for the apartment building. Yeah, you have to furnish the apartments of your neighbors. What a ripoff. Least evil landlord. I also have an uncanny talent for getting every furniture piece except the ones I actually need. So now there's some dumb minigames that I can't play. Not that I care, it just bothers me on an emotional level, you know?
This upset Kirby.
The only other thing I haven't talked about are the transformations. While Kirby doesn't have copy abilities, he can at least transform into vehicles and stuff near the end of levels sometimes. Most of them are pretty fun. There's a tank that shoots missiles, a dune buggy racing thing, a penguin on a surfboard, a fire truck for some reason. There's even this digging thing that's basically just Animal from Squeak Squad, but better. And it's really fun, who would have thought? The only annoying one is the train. You point it at the screen and draw tracks and it rides along it. Basically a worse canvas curse, presumably. Again, I haven't played them. The train just isn't fun. I found myself groaning whenever it showed up, and I think I hated it as a kid too, so you know it's not fun. The transformations usually are though. They're mainly just a neat way to spice up the gameplay a bit. I especially like the shoot 'em up sections with this rocket. Alright, does Kirby's Epic Yarn look like a fun, relaxing game to you? Are you interested in playing it but don't own a Wii? Well, you're in luck, because there's also a 3DS version for some reason. I'm baffled by the fact that extra Epic Yarn exists, not because it materialized into your own plane of reality one day, but because it came out in 2019. 2015? Okay, yeah, sure, that'd be cool. But 2019? When Switch was well into its life and everyone had already moved on from 3DS and Wii U? It's cool they were able to get this working on 3DS, but do you know how much better this would have been on Switch? They seriously could have made this game look really good, and it already looked really good. But nah, 3DS. It also made some weird decisions to mess with the level design. Now, I should preface my complaints with the fact that I have not played Extra Epic Yarn, but for some reason they added copy abilities. In a game where it was refreshing that I didn't have copy abilities. And because it wasn't designed around abilities, they don't have much reason to be here and they don't add anything to the overall experience. There's also a hard mode where you can take damage and die, but they also put in this weird demon thing that follows you around. It doesn't really make the game harder, just annoying. I stuck with the Wii version on Wii U for this video, but I didn't have any reason to play it on 3DS. Also, despite playing the digital Wii U release of the game, my save file from when I first played it off of a rental is still there. That's crazy. With how much I had to clean up save files over the years to save space, I don't know how it survived. Ultimately, Kirby's Epic Yarn isn't a deep game. I'm pretty sure I skipped over a lot about this one. Not every game needs some 8-hour-long grand essay with a doctoral thesis-esque conclusion. This is a game made for babies, but luckily, I am a baby, and I eat this up like candy. Despite being so different from a regular Kirby game, it's actually a lot closer to one than you would think. Epic Yarn is expertly crafted to activate every dopamine receptor there is. Needless to say, it's a fun time. I didn't feel the need to do everything this time. Completing all the dumb minigames felt pointless. But if I ever have a particularly bad day, Epic Yarn's a great way to forget about the horrors of real life. It's been fun. Please, take care everyone.